Hi, I'm Rabbi Stu Robinson. Everybody knows me as RZ, Rebz, or Stu. And this is the second take due to technical difficulties. It's kind of like being in the music studio putting together an album. So I guess if Elvis can do something in a couple of takes, so can we. Welcome to the Selichoth Service for 5774. It is the closing service, one of the closing services before our new year of 5775 starts on Wednesday, September the 25th, and Wednesday night, Thursday, and Friday night through Friday night for our Rosh Hashanah service. Slichus, what does it mean? It means forgiveness. And what's the deal with a Slichus service? Well, for you boomers out there that may have grown up when I grew up, it was kind of a big deal because, here you are, fifth, sixth, seventh grade. Maybe you're not quite bar mitzvah at age 12 or 13. Maybe you just got there, but you're at home and you take a nap on Saturday because you know you're leaving your house sometime between 11 and 11:15 to go to synagogue for midnight service. The lights are dim. You know you're going to hear the first tones of the high holiday liturgy music. Some of them are unique. We look at them and say to ourselves, well, they're soulful, well, they're sad, well, they're dirge-like. Well, Rosh Hashanah is about the Day of Judgment. But Slichus isn't always like that. Neither are the Rosh Hashanah tunes. And the tunes that you're going to hear are from the B'nai Israel Choir in Baltimore, Maryland. It formerly was the original Huzzikamuna before they switched names and one congregation moved uptown and B'nai Israel stood where it's been for the last 130 years. Cantor Abraham Denberg and the B'nai Israel Choir, headed up by my good friend Marshall Feldman and Dr. Bill Milner, who used to be the choir director at Hozekimuna, have put together a fantastic Slichus service. Now, in the day, this was midnight, but before I left to come up to Vermont, the services switched to 9 o'clock, where there was a reception beforehand, and then you went into the synagogue for the service. And of course, this year, like in 2011, it's unique because it happens Motzei Shabbat. Right after Sabbath is over, boom, we're into Slichus. And so what I'm going to invite y'all to do is to sit back, close your eyes. You're going to hear tunes that are familiar, sing along, and enjoy the service of forgiveness that is going to be presented to you by Cantor Denberg and the B'nai Israel Choir. Keep in mind that Slichos poses the question of the week for Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur. Hineni, when God calls on you as an individual or a community, are you going to be able to answer as Abraham did when he was about to sacrifice his beloved son Isaac? And the angel stopped him by calling Abraham, Abraham, and he answered, Hineni. Here I am, or I am here. Either way, that is the call for responsibility and accountability. And in fact, that word appears in our Tanakh, in our Bible, 178 times because it's that important for identification of character. And so, as we go along and we start to listen to the prayers that you're going to hear tonight, and we look into ourselves, and some of it may not be so easy to do, keep in mind that the upside to this is we all are in this together, whether it's individual or whether it's on a communal basis, and that we're our brothers and sisters keepers. And so when we get to the Ashamnu, which is a confession, and it talks about we dealt treacherously, libelously, slanderously, generally horribly in a whole list of sins. And within there, we have the words, Al tashlicheni, do not forsake me because I've done these horribly bad things, or because I'm old, or because I'm sick, or because I haven't lived up to expectations, that we're asking God to keep an open heart. And so, what I am suggesting to you is just as you're asking God to keep an open heart, slichus, forgiveness, it's also the holiday where you contact people that maybe you've hurt directly or indirectly, and you ask them for their forgiveness as well. And sometimes it's not so easy to have your heart open. But it's a new year, it's a new time, it's a new ball game. It's like the baseball playoffs. Doesn't matter what happened in the season, we're now ready to start fresh. And so with that in mind, enjoy the cantorial music of Rabbi Denberg and the B'nai Israel Choir as they take us through Selichos. And by the way, don't touch that dial. This service, which is not everything in Selichos, if you want everything, you can go to shul or you can take a book and do it at home. But this is about 20 to 25 minutes, give or take, to give you the essence of the Selichos music and get you set up for Rosh Hashanah services, which start next Wednesday night. The Ashrei, which is a psalm that was written by King David, is a psalm to praise God. And it's actually an alphabet acrostic that was not uncommon at the time for these piyutim, for these poems. Ashrei praises God, and from the bottom of our hearts, we extol his praise and hope for his thanks and well-being. So with that, that's the Ashrei. The next liturgical music you're going to hear is the traditional Kaddish that is said for the holidays. It's the traditional melody. Everybody knows it. It's only done once a year during the high holiday season for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and, of course, Slichos. And so if you know it, sing along and enjoy the Chatzi Kaddish by Cantor Denberg and the choir. The next prayer you're going to hear is the Shema Kolenu. Hear our voices. We're The next prayer that you're going to hear is Shema Kolenu. Lord, hear our voices. Have mercy on us. Spare us. And later, you're going to have a beautiful, beautiful melody that says, Al Tashlichenu. Do not forsake us because we're old, because we're in bad health, because we haven't lived up to your expectations. Al Tashlichenu. Hear our voices. The B'nai Israel Cantor and Choir. Fantastic, isn't it? Can you imagine being in that building and the sound just resounding off the walls? That's absolutely fantastic, especially when there are no microphones, there's no special audio hookups. It's the power of your voice within the sanctuary. Well, probably out of all the pieces, the Ashrei was stirring, the Al Tashlichenu and Shema Kolenu are very moving. But for me, shul is also about fun. It's about being able to go there and clap your hands and stomp your feet and say, wow, what a great melody. Wow, it's too bad we don't hear this melody during the course of the year because it's a high holy day special. And sometimes if you need a reason to go to shul, it can be just to hear that tune. Of course, I know you'd want to come to hear what I had to say, but I would understand if that was coupled with you want to come and hear the tune. So the cantor and choir are going to finish our Selichoth services with Yigdal, but before they do that, it's traditional to do a mourner's Kaddish. So if you're sitting down, I'm going to ask you to stand up. I'm going to take it slow so that you can follow along with me. And it's interesting. The mourner's Kaddish isn't about death. The mourner's Kaddish is about a celebration of life. There's no gloom and doom in it. It is in Aramaic. It was written during the Babylonian exile. And so together we say, Yiskadal v'yiskadal shemei rabah, v'yalmad divrach yirusei v'yamlich malchusei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayedechon beis Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei rabah mevorach li'alam omeo mayom. Yisbarach v'yishtabach v'yispoar v'yisramam v'yisnasei, v'yisadar v'yisalev v'yisalal shemei dekudashah b'richu. La'elo le'elo mikober chasa v'shirasa, tush b'chasa v'nechamasa, damiram v'yalma v'imaru amen. Yehei shlom rabba min shemaya, v'chayim alenu v'yalkay Yisrael v'imaru amen. Osa shalom imramav, hu yaseh shalom, alenu v'yalkay Yisrael v'imaru amen. Now, you know, when we do our morning services, and between the month of Elul and Hoshana Rabbah, we say Psalm 27. It's a special psalm for the days of awe. But you know what it's about, the opening line? The opening line is basically, God, as long as you're with me, who do I have to fear? Turn me not over to my foes. Do not abandon me to my foes. It's you're asking God for his help and his mercy. And so with that, we go to Yigdal, the concluding hymn for Selichos, and we hope that you have enjoyed the introduction to our high holiday commemoration and celebration, which starts on Wednesday night at sundown. The prayer that you just heard, the Ashamnu, is part of the confessional that we say. And it's actually pretty outrageous because as a community, people are accused of doing things all the time. Maybe you've done them, maybe you haven't. And this part of the service, which is known as the Vidoy, you're taking your right hand, you're putting it over your heart, and you're tapping your heart with every word of the confession. Ashamnu Bagadnu. We have dealt treacherously, we have dealt slanderously, we have done libelously. Can you imagine what an opening line to have to deal with when you're trying to get yourself straight with God? But that's what that's about, and we are our brothers and sisters keepers. So you ask the question, well, Rabbi, how come we say these things that we haven't done? Why should we be responsible? Well, as James Brown said, get on up. It's about accountability and a responsibility. It's about the responsibility that we have with ourselves and our relationship to God, our fellow human beings, the planet, the animals. And it's about communally, where we are as a group of people, where perhaps I didn't do something, but I'm asking God's help for you, and you didn't do something, and you're asking God's help for me. We are our brothers and sisters keepers. The Shamnu is about that. We've done the Mourner's Kaddish, and now we're getting ready to close out with Yigdal. I hope you enjoy the melody. It's only used during the high holidays season, which is from Selichoth Services through Yom Kippur. So I hope you enjoy, and if you know the tune, sing along. If you catch on with the tune, you'll be able to sing along because the melody is really easy and it's a lot of fun. And it is appropriate that we end on an upbeat note. So with that, I'll say to all of you out there, Lashana Tova Umtuka, have a sweet and healthy and happy new year. And I hope you'll click on for our Rosh Hashanah service. What we're trying to do is something a little unusual. We're trying to take cantorial masterpieces that are available and let you hear some of the magnificent historical cantors and chazans that have enriched our lives in our Jewish faith with their voices that go to the heavens with the help of their choirs.